All right, you're in the home stretch. So now what we're going to do is apply formatting to your paper or to make it professional. So we're going to walk through step by step. I'm going to teach you it. You're going to do it. Then I'll teach you another step. My voice is still out. I'm sorry. The first thing we're going to do, you have all this great color coding, but we need to get rid of that. So Command A highlights your whole paper. Come up here to Format. Go to Clear Formatting. Click that, and that goes away. It also resets your font, which is great because we're going to want Arial font anyway. All right, welcome back. Now, if you didn't have color coding, you might not have done anything there. So make sure you Command A and that your font is Arial. That is the required font for this paper. No other font will be accepted. Also Command A this and make sure your font size is 12. Pause the video, make those two things happen. Now what we're going to do is indent the first line of every single paragraph. Go to your paragraph, put the cursor there, hit tab. Go to your next paragraph, find the cursor, hit tab. Do this for all your paragraphs. Now what we're going to do is double space your paper. Command A, then you're going to take your cursor or take your pointer up here at the top, go over to this one. It's got an arrow and some lines next to it. This is your line spacing. Click on that. We want double space. That's all that will be accepted for this paper. Double space your paper, please. Okay, now what you're going to do is add a heading to your paper. So arrow down, make sure you don't lose the indent. Come back up here to the line. Go back to the left side. We're going to put in 4 lines for our heading. The first one is you're going to put your name. Hit enter. You're going to put your teacher's name. Make sure you spell my name correctly. It's really rude to spell people's names incorrectly. You're going to put the class, 7V History, and you're going to put the date, but it's fancy. You're going to put the date in a fancy way. The day I'm making the screencast is the 24th of May, 2018. Arrow down one more time, and that's your heading. All right, now we're going to add a title to our paper. So make sure your cursor is between your heading, and then the next line down is your first line. Don't make a big gap here, right? It's going to go on this line right here in between your heading and the first line of your paper. So here's my cursor. I'm going to come up here to the top and hit center align because my title goes dead center of my paper. I'm also going to bold and underline my title, B and U up here. I'm not going to tell you which title is going to be. Remember, we talked about this before. Your title should be creative and eye-catching. I'm just going to put a creative, eye-catching title. I don't need to add an extra line. I leave that there. The next line is the first line of my paper. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is add page numbers to your paper. So if you double click near the top, you get your header. You're going to go over here to Insert. You're going to go to Header and Page Number. Go to Page Number. We want this first one here where they're in the upper corner. So right here out of the 4, the top left, click that one. Now, it might put it over here for you. If so, just go over here to the top and make sure you click right align. You're not done though. Arrow over so that you're in front of it and you're going to type your last name, space. So now I've got my last name, page 1. I scroll down, it should automatically do my last name, page 2, and so on. Okay, and the very last thing you're going to do is add your works cited page. Now, this has to go last because Otherwise, all the formatting you're doing messes with your works cited, and we don't want that. So scroll all the way to the final line in your paper. Find it right here, put the cursor next to it. Go up to insert, down to break, over to page break. This moves us to a brand new page. Why? Because our works cited gets its own page. We don't just stick it on after the last line. Okay, now that I'm on the new page, I'm ready to make my works cited page. So the first thing that I'm going to do is make sure that I'm on the top line. I'm going to go over and center a line. I'm going to type in the words works cited. Remember that I need to be in Arial 12. So if your formatting isn't set to Arial 12 for this page, go ahead and set that now. It's really important that I'm just one line down. So from the end of my works cited, I'm going to hit enter return once, go down one line, then I'm going to come over here and left align my cursor. Now what I'm going to do is take my citations that I've been making throughout my paper, throughout my research notes, and I'm going to copy and paste those into my works cited. You don't need to format them yet. I'm going to show you that. Go grab all of your citations and please copy and paste them into this page right now. Okay, I've copied and pasted mine in. Yours should look a little something like this. Now we have to format these into proper MLA citations. So what we're going to do first is highlight all of our entries. Go over here again, make sure I'm in Arial 12. I'm going to go over here to line spacing. For our works cited page, we want double spacing. Go ahead and leave it highlighted because now we have to align our entries. In MLA citations, we do a special kind of indenting. So for any citation that's just a single line, like my top one here, I can leave that alone. But on any of them that are more than one line, like my second one here, I have to do an indentation where I leave my first line alone and then I indent my next few lines. Anything else that goes with the citation. So I do that again for here and so forth. But here's a really easy way to do it. So what I want you to do is highlight all of your citations, even if they're only one line, just highlight them all. We're going to do something fancy called a hanging indent. So highlight them, come up here to format, go down to align and indent, move over to indentation options. It's your bottom option. Click that. From here, I want to go to special, hanging. The default is 0.5, and in MLA we do half an inch, 0.5. Click apply, and it hanging indents all of my multi-line citations. So make sure all of yours look like this. Great, so the last thing we have to do is alphabetize our entries. We always alphabetize by the first entry in the citation. So that's pretty straightforward. If you have two entries, two citations with the exact same first entry, like maybe two of your article titles are the same, or you have something like NA for the entry, then for those, you're going to alphabetize by the second entry. For example, if I have an article called A History of the Mary Celeste that comes from CNN and A History of the Mary Celeste that comes from Wikipedia, those would both go into A, but the one from CNN, because that would be my second entry, would go first, and the one from Wikipedia would go second. So alphabetize first by the first entry, and then if you need to differentiate between any, differentiate by the second entry. See me if you need any help. Go ahead and alphabetize now. Great, and you should be done. So this is what your paper should look like right now. Name and page number at the top, properly formatted heading, title at the top. One line down, we have our introductory paragraph, our ELI 5 paragraph, argument paragraph 1, argument paragraph 2, and our conclusion. Following that on its own page, we have our works cited, title in the middle, one line down. We begin our citations. They are double spaced, and any multi-line citations have a hanging indent.
All citations are done alphabetically by the first entry, unless they have the same entry, in which case we would differentiate by the second entry. If your paper looks like my paper, you are good to move on and get the rough draft checklist.